sound of Christmas in Glasgow.
What I'm having trouble no looking at is the communist stand that's right behind the phone that we're stoning.
Quite like the communists.
It's nice and red. That's quite Christmassy as well.
I like the communists. If you look right up the middle there, you'll see there's a Christmas tree in the distance.
A wee Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Some Christmas on the side of that building as well.
There's a wee bit of Christmas. Hold on, there's another wee bit of Christmas somewhere. No, that's it. That's all the Christmas, I'm afraid.
Some here, in my heart.
Welcome to Consolvania. This is a very special episode of Consolvania because this is the last episode.
It's also episode.
Not the last. Wait a minute. Hold on. You've made me say the last episode, which it isn't.
Just say it.
It's the last episode before our big anniversary year next year.
20. Is it 20? Hold on. Let me count the decades.
Yeah, it's 20 years.
That's 20 years.
20 years. How many episodes, Ryan?
We are now on to this. You're now watching and witnessing episode 109 of Consolvania. Hello and welcome.
So we have...
It's a video game show, sorry.
It is. We have some very special things lined up for the anniversary year. But, you know, this episode we're just bringing home our traditional Consolvania episodes before big changes come rolling in. Very special year next year, big surprises away. And this episode, though, I'm going to be having a look at a game called Inked and a game I've been playing with my wains called Lil Gator, it's called. I'm
going to be playing a Highland song, finally. I've been looking forward to it for a wee while. And I'm going to be talking about other games that I've loved this year. And I'm talking about an email that I sent, but it's games related, so I'm not just rambling.
Talking about an email, what's exciting? Highland Song, I was looking forward to that game as well until I saw the trailer and it all looked a wee bit too, oh Bridie, get yourself up the trees and climb a baby. A wee bit like that.
You need to see, what I'm realising playing it is that we need to keep, I mean we can, but we need to keep our Glaswegian cynicism in check when it comes to these Scottish things.
Oh, it's a right bricht, nicht right up the hills. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing Ryan's review of that game. Anyway, we're going to head off and finish off a wee bit of Christmas shop, and we'll see you later in the shop.
We have a Christmas pie as well. A Highland Song has finally come out, and it's a very pretty game that isn't in the least bit Glaswegian. But you can't win, you wouldn't want your game to be a Glaswegian, obviously, because it would be manky, it would make you feel manky if you were playing it. This is meant to uplift you. Sorry, I'm being rude and talking there, this lassie talking, but a guy comes in now as well, he talks there, this as well, so it might as well be the three is talking. Yeah, so it's an awfully romantic vision of the Scottish hills, the Scottish countryside, and the accents in it, to be totally fair, even though there's no a trace of any Glaswegian, why would there be? I don't know why it's got my back up, why would there be Glaswegian accents? There's no reason for there to be Glaswegian accents, just because it's in Scotland. Just that a couple of Cambridge graduates have made a game set in Scotland and it's got my back up, there's no Glaswegian accents. I don't know what's happening, my wiring's all coming up. But it's lovely, it's a lovely, pretty... Sometimes I was getting some stuttering playing the game, which I don't understand because I can run Baldur's Gate 3 at max settings. And the story of a Highland Song is that Moira's running away for home to go to her uncle who stays in a lighthouse. I don't know, does he stay in a lighthouse or is he... I think he stays in the lighthouse. And there's loads of things that I really, really like about a Highland Song, and this isn't one of it, this rhythm types. Can you even call this a rhythm section? It's fucking rubbish anyway, and it actually plays even worse than it looks. Because it's got something to do with the collision detection, or like how easy it is to hit the marks, that just feels really rubbish to play. Anyway, moving on. I don't know what it is, but these icons in your inventory in the game just give me these really, really nice wee nostalgia hits. Like it's something that I might have had when I was about 2 years old, you know what I mean? Lovely wee details. There are many, many things that I really like about this game. I love the art style of it, I love the way Moira's animated. The hills and the nature are all absolutely beautiful. I really enjoyed the way the game is played, as well as you're getting closer to the lighthouse. You're being read old letters for your uncle, and you're learning about the landscape as you're playing through it, as you're traversing through it. You're only ever really moving from left to right and up and down, and you're doing so using these maps that aren't the really traditional maps. It's just some fucking scribbles that Moira's written down that you have to try and match to the landscape, which isn't really a very enjoyable process sometimes. What it does well in being atmospheric, and the accents all being like no over the top, and it being nicely written, the ambience that it builds, the sense of place that it gives you, all of that's good, but it all comes tumbling down at a certain point, or it did for me anyway. And the point at which things started to go from positive to negative is when I started to realise I don't like playing this. This game is not fun. Slogging all the way to the right hand side while the rain's pissing down on you and then getting to a dead end and realising that you have to just double back and go all the way back. Isn't fun? That isn't fun. I realised once I'd made it past the points that I really liked in the game and started to come to the opinion that I'm not actually that fond of the game. I realised that my expectations were actually quite high for this game. Who knows what I was expecting, and lots of other people seem to be enjoying it, so by all means please do not listen to me. I enjoyed so many things about the game. I enjoyed the way it talked about nature. I really liked the art style. As I say, you just want your game to be fun, don't you? I just want to be playing fun games these days. I've not got long left. I appreciate that you think you've got a nice wee story to tell me, but if you don't fucking make it fun, I've not got time for it. Sorry pal, see you later. What else is fun?
World His Highness once dreamt of.
Metaphor ReFantazio is the best name I've ever heard any game ever, and this is for the makers of the Persona 3, the Persona 4 and the Persona 5. Atlus and Studio Zero have made something that might just be too much sex, it might be too sexy, there's too much sexiness happening. What I'm meaning is I think there's too many different styles of sexiness. I'm spotting Persona style sexiness, I'm seeing Nier Automata style sexiness. When this comes out, you're going to have to be very careful that your mum doesn't catch you playing it, you dirty bastard. World of Goo 2 has recently been announced, and that was very exciting news because I've not played a World of Goo game since I was an alcoholic. It's literally been that long ago. There I'm in the bottom left hand corner, an alcoholic pretending to be a junkie. What show is better than Consolvania? No show. There's no show better than Consolvania. That's what I choose to believe anyway. I choose to believe that there's no show better than Consolvania. World of Goo always had a great sense of humour and the puzzles were bloody brilliant. It's just a great game to play and it'll be brilliant on all different platforms. I can't wait to fucking play it on Switch, to be honest. I'm pretty excited about it. Black Myth Wukong looks mesmerising. Such an intriguing art style. What the fuck is that Lantern Head man? How can this be video games? How is this? How are we alive seeing this? You know, asking yourself this. You just walking about going, aye, this is all normal. There's a turkey man talking in a tree. What you fucking look at it? Oh, it's amazing. How is this games? If you're trying to tell me that you're not looking forward to this game, then I'm telling you that you're a bloody shite bag. It looks beautiful. Aye, alright, it might still be shite, but it looks beautiful. Just watch your mad as they walk in when you're playing it, you dirty. Knocking one out to a giant turtle. What are you even doing, you manky? From the makers of Untitled Goose Game is Big Walk, and I don't know anything about it other than it looks a bit like that. No, it doesn't look a bit like that, it looks exactly like that. Maybe it'll have something to do with making friends. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Instead of brutalising each other online, it was about being pals. A game about being pals, that'd be nice. I'll not be jumping into anybody's hole, I don't think that's very appropriate. There is just something about the first Descendant that says 7 out of 10 all day long. I've got nothing to back that up, and I don't mean to demoralise the studio in any way by saying that, but it just stinks a 7 out of 10. But this trailer is fucking magic. You don't often get that many good, like really good game trailers. Nobody really seems to go to that much bother, which is annoying as a video editor. But this trailer makes it look slick and fancy and makes me want to check it out, so I'll probably check it out, and maybe you should check it out as well. Do you want to check it out together? Some of my favourite films are 7 out of 10, so you never know. I get so much more excited, you'll be unsurprised to hear, when I hear that there's a sequel of a brilliant indie game coming out. When there's a sequel for somebody who's proven that they know what they're doing with their games. They can make brilliant games. Brilliant games like Inscription and Pony Island. It's Pony Island 2! If you don't know what Pony Island, the first Pony Island game is, then I don't want to make a big deal of it, but come on to fuck, you know what I mean? Come on to fuck, play the brilliant indie games, and it's one of the brilliant indie games, so just even if you just play the brilliant ones, there's so many of them, and that's one of them. I've got absolutely no fear that I'm going to love Pony Island 2. Bet you anything, I bet you a million, I bet you a billion, £1 Pony Island 2 is going to be good. £1 billion. You can't see it, but there's £1 billion lying on the table right in front of you. I bet you £1 billion this game's going to be fucking brilliant. Pony up. for Pony Island 2. £1 billion. Think of this, if Grand Theft Auto 6 made £1 billion, if it made £1 billion, they'd be really disappointed, because it's gonna make billions. It's still not out for ages, but now we've got a tiny wee look at it, and I'm having so much more trouble this time around wrapping my head around what a monument Rockstar are building with this thing. The work of thousands, probably tens of thousands of people for years and years and years have gone into this game. I'm not even particularly interested in like the story or really playing Grand Theft Auto 6, but I'm kinda getting a bit fascinated by what it represents. This incredible feat, this achievement. Also, we haven't seen it yet, but just think about how realistic nipples are going to be in this. Don't let your fucking Mac catch you playing it.
Now, Inked is not a new game, but once again, it's a game that has come out physically recently on the Switch, and I picked it up, and it was a game that had kind of passed me by, so I was really blown away, first of all, by the look of the game. This is a short wee game. I managed to blow through it in maybe like 5 hours or something. It's a short wee game. It's essentially a puzzle game, an environmental puzzle game, where the world is completely illustrated by an artist. And it really looks like the kind of sketches you would do in, you know, your maths jotters at school. No, the kind of sketches I would do. It was essentially Batman and Guy Gardner, Green Lantern symbols and stuff like that I did. But if you were good at drawing, good artist, then you would maybe draw worlds like this on your graph paper.
Our two lovebirds reach the end of the forest. Their goal is but a step away.
That was the artist there narrating what's going on in the story, and he's kind of telling the story as he draws. And the story is about our hero here, our boy with a hat on there, following his lovely wife, following and trying to find his lovely wife, and moving through the world in her footsteps. And very, you know, it seems like a very slight story. However, like any indie game these days, worth its salt, there's a lot more going on under the surface, and really this game is a kind of rumination on loss and, you know, just a kind of focus on how we move on from tragedy. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And how you move on in this game is by doing these wee environmental puzzles where you essentially redraw the level by moving objects around.
The hero and his love catch a glimpse of the artist's happiness. But it's not their life, so they decide to move on before more birds get hurt.
Yeah, so these wee memories pop up as well. Now, this is kind of the story beyond the story, and this is how the story beyond the story appears. And it's quite interesting what this game does with the role of the narrator. I don't want to spoil anything, you know, but it has a couple of nice wee surprises up its sleeve for a wee short game. Now, it doesn't execute everything brilliantly, this game. If anything, I think the puzzles are maybe a wee bit too easy. They're always satisfying to solve, but they're maybe a wee bit too easy. I was very rarely stumped, you know. But if you're wanting to play a game that looks beautiful, and this game looks so beautiful that sometimes I would just load it up and kind of leave it on my screen, just almost like a moving painting on my screen. That's how much I love to look at. If you want that, a nice Zen-like experience where you can solve quite straightforward puzzles and always progress, this might be the game for you. The weird thing about these indie games, I think, these days, though, is that there's no warning in these games about the subject matter, you know, and I don't want to go into that area where it's like, you know, trigger warnings and all that, right?
The nameless hero suddenly felt the toll of the journey on his body. So instead of running, he walked upstairs.
There's a distinct possibility that somebody could pick up this game thinking, oh, here's a nice looking wee puzzle game with lovely graphics, and suddenly be confronted with a story that cuts a wee bit too close to the bone, you know, depending on what that person's been through lately, you know. Fortunately, my God, touch wood, I've had nothing recent where it was upsetting for me to play, but I think this could maybe be a game that is quite upsetting to play for certain people.
Anyway, I really liked it a lot. Charming, 4 or 5 hours in and out. Again, puzzles maybe a wee bit too gentle, but I understand that, you know, the developers probably wanted the story to be told. I would check it out if I was you, as long as you've had some plain sailing in your life for the past year or two.
As you're no doubt aware from watching the online video game show Consolvania, I'm a big fan of the Commodore Amiga, still to this day, had one when I was growing up. So many of my all-time favourite games are Commodore Amiga games. And if you're deep enough into the Consolvania lore that you've seen the Consolvania Top 100 on YouTube, you'll know that Speedball 2 is one of my all-time favourite games. To this day, still one of the funnest, most playable games that exists. So all that being said, I got really excited when I read this old article online that was saying that the company Rebellion had acquired the rights to all the Bitmap Brothers IPs. I don't know how I managed to miss that, because I've been begging for Speedball 2 on other platforms literally for decades. So reading this article for 2019, I frantically start going through Rebellion's website trying to figure out who are Rebellion? What, they own other things, other like 2000 AD related stuff. Are they UK based? Who are they? Who are they comprised of? All of a sudden I'm extremely interested in the company Rebellion. So interested that I start piecing together an email, and I decide I'm going to email Rebellion about Speedball 2. I'm too excited not to dare, because it occurs to me if somebody owns the Bitmap Brothers IPs, there's a slim chance that the Speedball 2 content that was released on Xbox Live in 2007, which is all detailed in this email, there's a good chance that they might actually have their hands on it. Which for a Speedball 2 fan is unbelievably exciting, because the content that was released on Xbox Live is the most extensive and in-depth Speedball 2 content that there's ever been. It still had the classic mode of play. You could switch between a modern, a classic graphical style, but it had more leagues, it had infinite leagues, it had different tiers, it had different competitions, it had so many different players. For a Speedball 2 fan, it was an unbelievable dream come true, but then out of the blue, it just got discontinued and completely disappeared for Xbox Live, and hasn't been seen anywhere else ever since. In the 10 long days it took Rebellion to answer my email, I was just giddy with excitement. I can't believe this is actually happening, I was thinking to myself. Merchandise, they're selling Speedball 2 merchandise, I can't believe it's happening. It's finally happening. The world is finally getting a chance to wake up again to Speedball 2. We're going to have online leagues. I already knew the Chaos Engine was on Steam. I was just so frustrated and heartbroken that Speedball 2 never get the same treatment. Speedball 2 is 50 times the game that Chaos Engine is. My imagination is running away with itself. As I say, I'm thinking about online leagues. I'm thinking about all the players that they can be bringing in. I'm thinking about playing it with other people. I'm thinking about playing it with my cousin again, like just like back when I was growing up. So many options. I'm thinking about getting all my Christmas presents off the Rebellion website because I've got so much Speedball 2 amazing gear. I'm excited. What I'm saying to you is, I'm really excited. And then just 10 short days after I sent my email, I got a response and it says, "Hi Ryan, apologies for such a late reply. We're a small team and currently extremely busy. Thank you for your interest in regards to Speedball. We have nothing to announce at this time, but we appreciate you letting us know there's an appetite for it." So they didn't even fucking read my email. They didn't even fucking read the email that I sent to them. They didn't even fucking read it. Tell you what, you can stick your merchandise up your ass.
Now, before our anniversary year, we thought what we want to do with our anniversary year is have much more communication with, I think our coffees are coming, this is going to be upward, no, maybe no, nod or no. Much more communication with the community, engagement with the community. So we want to answer some questions that people have sent from the community to us, which is our own community.
Right.
Ryan?
We had a great question from Nathan McIntosh, who is one of our patrons on the website Patreon, which keeps us going, keeps us ticking there, keeps us alive. And Nathan McIntosh says in his message to us, "Just noticed you guys still charge me US dollars for the top tier one." He says that's one whole British pound per sub being left on the table. Boys don't let the banks win twice. But Nathan, I don't really know how that website works.
No idea what that means.
So we're charging you dollars instead of, listen, I'm going to pass that along to our
tech team,
accounts and tech team to deal with that issue, and they're going to get back to you within 48 hours, alright mate? Sorry, that wasn't a real question.
Any ones about games?
I've got another one. No, hang on. I've got another one here.
I love how even our audience don't talk about games.
So this one's for Andrew Perry, right? Andrew Perry. No, it's not. That's the wrong one.
Wrong one.
Space Jaws.
Space Jaws.
Space Jaws asks. I'll just read his message to you. Space Jaws says, Merry Crimble, guys. I know you're busy, spelt you're wrong. I know you're busy in that, but stop that shite, cause I have a question. Okay. Any plans to update the reviews YouTube playlist? It's Christmas, trying to have a relaxing Christmas break. Love watching it at work, seems like a task though. If it's not already cut up, in that case, make your community do it. Layabouts need job experience instead of just hanging around fucking spiders. Hanging around fucking spiders, I don't know what
Fucking having sex with spiders?
Yeah. Is that what they do?
Well, you know, the YouTube playlists, I'm always quite surprised that Ryan's always done that, put things up on YouTube, and
you made me actually, Space Jaws, have a look at that playlist and have a reminisce about how many, probably thousands of hours I must have spent doing that. And I think it stops around about 8 point something, maybe 8.10 or something, so there's maybe like 25 episodes that we need. But the reason why it stopped is because it became more difficult to define what a review was in Consolvania.
Yeah.
That's the genuine reason.
This is our coffee's coming now, so this is going to go.
I was just about to make an excellent point.
I'm just going to put the phone down a sec. Oh, nice Java. That's a good Java. There was a guy we knew at college called Adam. He was a lecturer, a tutor, and he would talk about Java all the time.
Cup of Java,
he would say.
He was a nice big guy.
He was a nice big guy.
They weren't all nice.
And once again, we have to ask a question we ask all people we knew in the past. Still kicking a ball or in the grunt? Who knows? Next question.
Andrew Perry gives us a message, and Andrew Perry says in his message, in all caps, he says, "Hi team!" exclamation mark. Hello. Andrew then goes on to say, I finally got round to playing the Switch for the first time and enjoying Breath of the Wild. I know you are Switch veterans by now, so was wondering in the next episode or two if you could both do a segment on your top 10 Switch games. Thanks, Andrew.
I would love to do that, Ryan. Would you love to do that?
I would love to do that, but I do feel, I would need to be completely perfectly honest, I'm no downplaying my own confidence or anything like that, but I feel a wee bit out of my depth when it comes to like how many Switch games you've seen and how many Switch games get. I think I'm going to do a top 3 probably for this year. But it's not really a surprising, or like there's not going to be like it's a pretty.
Are you going to do it in this episode?
I think so.
Woo! Maybe I will as well.
I'll do a top 3. I've not actually decided yet. I might do a top 3 of the year, but my top 3
of the year, and then I think that's a bigger project.
But there's no way that there's no Switch games in that.
No, but there's something interesting that's going to be happening next year for a variety of reasons. Consolvania will change shape a wee bit, and I think in between what we're going to be doing regularly every month, I think we should be putting out a few wee extra things. There's a reason for that, and maybe it would be good to do that for that. It looks a package has arrived. I've just got a notification that an Amazon package arrived that say chocolate covered cherries from my wife.
Oh, lovely.
So is that all the questions?
That's it. That's all 3 questions that we've had this year in Consolvania.
No, that's great. We're all caught up. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. One every few months is good for us. And Merry Christmas.
Ryan's top 3 games of 2023. Again, Ryan's top 3 games, kinda, but I've bent the rules slightly. A very late entry to Game of the Year for me was Talos Principle 2, a sequel that's been about 5 or 10,000 years it's been since the last Talos Principle. Definitely several lifetimes ago anyway, it feels. But Talos Principle at the time was right up my street, and it still is right up my street. It's a puzzle game that has a shitload of philosophical influences. It's one of the best games for feeling as if I'm dead brainy for playing this. That's when you know you're playing a particularly good puzzle game as well, when they strike that balance between this will never be able to get through this. Going away for a few minutes and thinking about it and then going, of course. But this sequel is extremely dense. It has far more content than it has any right to have, and it looks far better than it has any right to as well. The tools and stuff you're using in the puzzles are very, very similar to the first game. You've got your jammers and stuff like like that, but you've got new things like drillers, RGB converters, accumulators. They've got these Prometheus flame things as well that you can kind of skip past things, but they're pretty rare to get. I think I've got like one negative to say, and that is that the controls are quite often clunky. They don't really get much better. They're clunky, but the depth and the style and the craft on display in this game is why it's my third favourite of this year, which has been an extremely good year for video games. Also my third favourite of this year is Shut the Fuck Up. You can shut the fuck up, I've been doing this for 20 years. Also my third favourite game of this year has been Mario Wonder. I only got it at Christmas there, but oh my god. Oh, this is like an antidote to how difficult and emotionally challenging 2023 has been, this game. They're pouring joy right into your eyes and ears. Look at the way Mario's hat flies up and he's into this pipe and he checks whether there's anything out the other end. Oh god, it's so good. I can show you one bit for this game. It only takes one bit to convince you that you probably want to play it. Do you want to see if it works? Let's go. I seem to mostly have been captivated this year by games that are exceptionally good at building their worlds. I have calmed down slightly on Tears of the Kingdom, because initially I could barely handle how much I was enjoying playing it. It's such a feat. Such a glorious world that they've built. That's what they're doing now, these games makers. They're not building games, they're building worlds. Better worlds. With more adventure, it seems. Safer worlds they build, where fear can be triumphed over. The world of Tears of the Kingdom just has such homely warmth to it, feels to me. The way they've made it so accessible to play just makes it so welcoming and comforting. As I say, I have calmed down on Tears of the Kingdom, but I still think it's a barely believable triumph of a game. I reflect on how much heart there is in this game throughout it, through every stage, the music, everything in it is so much heart. And I reflect on that Xbox email about Xbox acquiring Nintendo and a fucking shiver goes down my spine. An incredible year for games for me is topped by an exceptional game. This is footage of me just exploring, milling around and examining all the incredible artwork that's gone into this frankly unbelievably good adventure. I'd say it was flawless, but there was one time where my entire party was on fire in the cutscene for no reason. I thought we'd caught fire before the cutscene, but it turns out we hadn't caught fire, we're just on fire in the cutscene. But other than that, to my memory, I can't really remember. I would say other than that, absolutely flawless, I would say. I love pretty much everything about Baldur's Gate 3. I love every single tiny inch and detail of it. I'll sit and I'll read the journal for ages and ages. There was one time when I turned it on for 2.5 hours playing it, and all I did was go through my inventory, because I love the inventory as well. How can you love an inventory? But I love this inventory. I love the wee tiny details. I love the artwork, the wee tiny bits of writing that you get on items. I love how detailed this game is. I really, really love the way the die glistens when you have a success. Oh, that's crack. I love the voice performances.
Strange runes. You see time rewritten, fate undone, your future thrumming with power.
Having never played a Larian game before, I'm just gobsmacked by it. I slept with that cow later on in the game, actually. I'm just absolutely spellbound by the storytelling, the performances, the art, the music, and how it all works together, how they've brought it all together brilliantly, magnificently. You saw how much fun Mario Wonder looked earlier in this video. This game is the most fun I've had with a game maybe ever. It's definitely one of the most entertaining, captivating, spellbinding games that I've ever played. Such, as I've said already in this video, such a mind-boggling achievement to bring all of these things together and build this incredible, incredible thing.
Now play with me or they'll be angry with you.
perhaps you can measure your geekiness by this game, because if you hear in the background, as you frequently will hear when you play this game, the roll of a die, if you hear that and it doesn't get you a wee bit excited, then maybe just pass on the game. Maybe you could play it for all the boobies and the nakedness that's in it. But if you understand the satisfaction of a successful roll, no sausage roll, then you need to play this. You're missing out on one of the best adventures you can have in a computer game. What this delivers to the player in return, I mean, I remember when I bought this on Steam, it was only a few months ago, you'd hope I wouldn't remember, but I remember feeling, oh geez, 50 quid, that's a lot to drop. 50 quid seems like nothing when you're sinking all your time into this golden great, this glistening marvel of a game. I think you should get it. I think you should get it. It's only 50 quid.
You can pass, but first you must pay.
Well, let's check over here. Mama, look over here. It's over here. Mama, no.
And I'll show you what I got for Christmas. So this was my Christmas present, as you can see. Before anything else, listen to the racket of my house, right? Before I even talk about this, just listen. Constant noise, a constant racket. Anyway, this is what I need to live with. This is the Arcade 1-Up Street Fighter 2 cabinet that my wife got me for my Christmas, and I was very delighted. I've been looking at Arcade 1-Up cabinets for a while, very tempted to pick one up, but just was scared to pull the trigger. They're quite expensive. I didn't want to, bring it into the house. It takes up too much room, but my wife got me for my Christmas, so here we are. And Jen must have done a wee bit of research, because I think this is considered one of the kind of better Arcade 1-Up cabinets. So it's basically a Street Fighter 2 cabinet, right? So it's got all your versions of Street Fighter 2. And one of the things that struck me in playing this was that I don't think I'd properly processed or remembered within my head just how many versions of Street Fighter 2 there were and how different they are for each other. This is your... oh, by the way, I want to say as well, any gameplay you see in this, because I'm filming with one hand, I'm having to play all the games with one hand. Look at this. Controls are all nice. I know a lot of people upgrade the controls and all that, but I'm not going to do any of that, carry on. I can't be bothered. I'd break it or something, I'm happy enough with the stock stuff. It feels fine to me. The Waynes have been having no problem using the controls as well. But anyway, here's your basic Street Fighter 2. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you've ever played this game before. Have you ever played Street Fighter 2 before? Mate, you ever tried Street Fighter 2? You ever played Street Fighter 2 before? It's still fucking magic. I'm like an SNK guy, right? I love the kind of King of Fighters games more so than the Street Fighter games, but it's been a long time since I've properly sat down and just played Street Fighter 2. This is Street Fighter 2 Turbo, by the way. This adds in more characters and... Now, hold on.
You did what?
You hear that? Did you hear that?
Poo-poo, right, use a wee minute.
It's the argument for having an arcade machine in your house, because you can have quick shots and see when your Waynes are doing things like doing shites all the time and all that and shouting. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable. Sometimes you just need something quickly you can play because you need to go and deal with the Waynes. Again, don't judge my skills here because I'm doing this one-handed, but man, this game is just so much fun. Faster, obviously, than original Street Fighter 2 in Big Vega, isn't it?
What'd you say? Hurry up, why? What? You need to eat your bottom.
Super Street Fighter 2 now. This one runs a wee bit slower again, slower than Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Turbo did, but brings in more characters. I've spent a fair wee bit of time with this one, having a play with the Waynes and stuff. It moves at a nice speed, good roster. It's no too fast for the kids to keep up with. We've been having a rare tear with it, and they like Blanca. The Waynes all love Blanca. I loved Blanca when I was a Wayne as well. I still love Blanca. This is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and this is really the one, isn't it? Like, for me.
original vanilla Street Fighter 2 and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo are the ones for me, and I've decided I'm going to get right into this. And that's the thing about having the Arcade 1-Up cabinet sitting there as well. It gives you the opportunity to properly kind of sit down and get deeply involved in a game, and I'm going to try and get good at Street Fighter 2. I've always been like I said, a King of Fighters guy. I know my way around a King of Fighters game. I can beat anybody, I think, at Mark of the Wolves, but Street Fighter 2, I need to sharpen up, and I'm going to do it this time. Now, one game that I hadn't played before is Street Fighter, the original Street Fighter, and of course I'd always heard that it was rotten, but actually I think it's kind of alright. What's amazing about Street Fighter is that it's incredible that Street Fighter 2 came for this, that the next step in evolution after this was Street Fighter 2, because it's a hell of a leap, you know what I mean? But I actually found it quite good fun. It almost feels like a kind of old Karate Champ type game, and there's just something about its kind of crude retro looks that I actually found quite endearing, and I've kind of enjoyed my time with it. It's very, very difficult. The timing is, you know, the timing of pulling off the moves and the kicks and all that, it just doesn't feel right. But there's just we punching the balls there and all that. I mean, there's a lot to like about it as well. Good voices in it. I quite like it. Baldy guys in it. Darkstalkers, a nice novelty beat 'em up, the darling of cosplayers all over the world. I think I've seen people cosplaying characters for Darkstalkers more than I've ever played a Darkstalkers game. No, I have enjoyed playing Darkstalkers on my Sega Saturn in the past. I'm a bit of a fan. Only the first Darkstalkers game is on this cabinet, but it's good for a wee change. I like it. And of course, here's the belter. Here's the belter. Final Fight is on here as well. You've got your 2 control decks there. You can sit with your pal in your house and load up your Final Fight on your arcade cabinet. And it's a big favourite. I know Ryan loves Final Fight as well, so I'm looking forward to Ryan next time he comes round. The two of us will sit down at the cabinet and we'll have a wee run through Final Fight. It's just a classic, just a game that Disney ever date. You know what I mean? Now this brings us to one of the treats that's on the cabinet, 1944, the Loop Master, which is one of, I think is the best of the 1940s shoot 'em up games. Again, I'm playing this one-handed here, so do forgive. And on forgiveness, I think this is one of the more forgiving of the 1940s games. However, it's a very long game, so it can be difficult. Bombs are maybe a wee bit overpowered, I think, but if you want to get high scores, don't use them. And this brings us to Strider. I have a funny relationship with Strider. I kind of felt for a long time that Strider isn't very good. It's not one of my favourite games, I have to say. But since getting this cabinet, I've had a couple of wee shots and I thought, maybe there's stuff in Strider that I haven't realised. Maybe it's a wee bit better than I thought. I just think the movement in Strider is kind of odd. There's just something about it that doesn't feels a bit clunky, clanky. Commando, because I'm a Commodore 64 boy, has been one of my favourite games my whole life. It is brutally hard. It's so difficult, like incredibly difficult.
I'm out of Minecraft.
Why?
Because someone pressed something bad so I can't move. And the skeletons and spiders and zombies killed me.
I mean, what chance have you got? And now, the GOAT, one of my favourite games of all time, Ghosts and Goblins. Just love it. Punishingly hard, absolute torture, but just irresistible stuff. I am going to try on this machine to one credit finish this. I'm telling you, I'm going to do it this time because I adore Ghosts and Goblins, and I can't think of any better achievement in my life than being able to say that I can finish Ghosts and Goblins in one credit. I know it's not going to happen, but I'll keep you posted.
You don't like that game?
I love that game. That's one of my favourite games.
Yeah, but why are you still there? Why are you still there?
Well.
Yeah.
Aye, so Jen did so well here. This was an amazing Christmas present. And it's funny, I mean, this wouldn't have been probably the one I would have picked myself, the Arcade 1-Up cabinet, but I'm so glad that Jen did pick this one because I've had an absolute blast with it. And yeah, it's just been sitting in the hall beside the Christmas tree. People have been walking past, having a wee shot. It looks great sitting there. And I talk about this a lot, about how we all have access to too many games these days. And the beautiful thing about having a cabinet is that it does make you sit down and just play that game that's there, you know. I'll spend more time with these games, and I'm looking forward to that.
That guy.
Yeah.
And you know what? The Waynes love it as well. You know what I mean? And the Waynes are just the best thing in the universe. So, yeah, brilliant. The only problem with this arcade cabinet for Arcade 1-Up is that they've got loads of them, and now I want them all. I want them. Oh my God, I mean, there's a Ridge Racer one. Boys, there's a Ridge Racer one.
It's Ed Boon!
Did anybody see the Game Awards this year?
My speech was actually longer than this year's Call of Duty campaign.
What?
It was actually pretty good, this year's Game Awards. You should have watched it, it was actually pretty good. A lot of good announcements.
I think we all want to know more, of course. What kind of game are you making, Mr. Kojima?
僕は誰もがやったこともないような
Well, we can't wait to learn more about what you're working on. Oh, wait. Is there somebody else at the door? It's Ed Boon!
And voila! Merci beaucoup!
Merci!
This guy didn't clear doing that with Jeff. You can tell on Jeff's face that he's like, what? This wasn't in the fucking script. We've ran this 12 times before we did this. This guy's doing a high kick. I can see Jeff absolutely fucking livid after the show that high kick nearly ruined his special moment.
Stunts too!
His special night.
It's Ed Boon from the Muppets. That's right, the Great Gonzo. Looks like you're kind of wearing what I'm wearing.
Yeah, it's like looking in a mirror, isn't it?
I really don't think.
This bit goes on for 15 minutes.
So Gonzo, what have you been playing? Seriously, what have you been playing?
You can hear people crying in the audience at certain points.
Hey everybody, Gonzo's buying everyone popcorn tonight.
Hey!
Jeff threw awards away, willy-nilly. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of awards Jeff just threw away in seconds throughout the night, just so he had more time that he could talk to fucking Gonzo for the Muppet Show. I think he wrote the script himself, so he thought it was extra funny and extra more important. So see if anybody comes up to you and tells you, oh, that Game Awards was dead good, make them watch this 45-minute long, I think it was an hour and a half actually, long bit of Jeff and Gonzo just riffing using the autocue. What have we done? We have ravaged this planet. We've let unspeakable things happen. This reality is breaking down.
You kidding? Actually, if you have the time, hey, you guys got a minute? How many of this year's greatest games all revolve around one central theme? Check this out.
What happened next is too disgusting even to show on Consolevania. I thought the video game industry had standards. I thought there was enough responsible people involved in the industry that they could stop what happened to that chicken that night at the Game Awards 2023. What an out of control Jeff did to that poor fucking chicken.